That's right, family. Welcome to your weekly rendezvous Monday Quality Talks number 46. I'm your host, Boddhi Satva. It's been a while since I've actually done the show. I have to indeed present to all of you a bit of an apology for not, being as regular as I would love to be. But quite a lot has happened, and without wasting too much of this precious time we have together, I want to bring forth my good brother from another, Papa Mukulukuku Kaysha. Euh, je ne vais pas rajouter d'autres acronymes à ce monsieur parce qu'il a beaucoup d'appellations complexes. For those who understand French, I'm not gonna add more aliases to his name because he has many. The man who only had two girlfriends in his life. The man with the master plan, Papa Mukulukuku, premier. Soyez les bienvenus. MQT46. Ah ben oui, ah
Hey,
ben oui, ah ben
MQT.
oui.
Ah bah oui.
Ah
Finally,
ben oui.
finally, I'm a
That's
guest here because
the
I
show
was
that
like,
never
what's
invites you.
going on? I was like, what did I do? What did I do to deserve to be put on the side?
Ce n'est pas facile, là. Ce n'est pas facile.
C'est ça difficile,
Welcome.
vraiment.
Welcome, everyone. Lorraine, comment ça va? Big thank you for tuning in. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Si. Papa, comment?
We're here,
Yeah, man.
I'm always gonna ask myself why you keep using this program. I always look pixelated on that one, but
Yes,
I'm
so do
here
I, actually.
dressed
Interesting
dressed to
enough.
impress in shadow wear, representing les léopards.
Ah ben oui, c'est très important. C'est très important.
Très important. Not like you
Comprenez notre
dressed
émotion.
like a French guy. I know there was the election that you didn't vote for, but pour vraiment, à la santé de Valérie Pécresse, on t'embrasse. Bonne chance avec les 5 millions que tu dois. One love.
Ah bon, là, scandale sur les fesses?
No, elle n'a pas un scandale. So, the thing is this, in the French elections, if you make more than 5% of people voting for you, if you have more than 5% votes, the state pays you back all your expenses.
Okay.
If you have less than 5%, the state only pays you, I think, 800,000, and most of them spend 7 to 8 million euros for the campaign. So normally, if you have more than 5%, you get all that money reimbursed, and she have less than 5%. So
c'est pas facile.
So,
c'est pas facile.
Bonjour, Lorraine.
La dette.
Luis Morera. You see all these people? They don't come at night for me, but because we at, normal times.
Normal times. We're not like you.
Yeah, I know.
Some
I know how I feel.
hours.
I'm sorry. I'm a guy from the night.
That's right. XRP represent indeed. XRP Army.
Future crypto millionaires.
Amen. Generational wealth.
You know how we do.
You know how we do.
So how are you, man? How you been? You've been abandoning your channel.
I've not actually been abandoning my channel purposely, but indeed there's been a lot. As you know, man, we talk every day, so it's just been crazy. I was actually really having a good moment thinking about, how I want this show, the Monday show, to be. I mean, remember, we've been speaking about this for quite some time. I really am trying to figure out the best way to really take the show to the next level and kind of like, map a bit of what you're doing with Club Shout Out. But I was thinking, because I was studying a little bit about, what the other guys are doing. And I think I might be heading towards more of a maybe semi-live or almost even pre-recorded show where there's a bit of editing going on, because I think that it could be interesting. It could be interesting, even though I do like the live format.
You can do both, like depending on how busy you're going to be. You can take one day and have 3 guests and record all 3, and then have them scattered across the month, and you do one live show, and then the rest is pre-recorded. As long as you have content in a recurring format, people tend to come and come and come because they know that at that time I got my guy. So instinctively, it kind of like, without even really thinking about it, we kind of start making ourselves available for the normal shows we watch at a certain time. So at a certain time, we know that I'm on my sofa, or I'm cooking, or etc. Hey, let me have this guy, and that's how a lot of people started in these last 2 years becoming really part of the of Club Shada. It's just the fact that you have something that is recurrent and that keeps coming. This create that effect where people they
relate to it, and they want to be part of
they relate to it,
the
yeah.
experience on it.
So as long as you have something, so look, every time I travel, that's what I do. I pre-record. I just pre-record like with you. I just call you or call somebody, pre-record 1 or 2 episodes, or 3, and this can be done in 3 hours.
But the thing is that I also want to do like a bit, like I want to, I really want to try to do a little bit of production around this thing. I mean, obviously, right now, it's about because the show is not self-sustainable financially, rather. So it's not a show that finances itself, and so in order for it to get to that point, either you obviously
all these people watching not putting likes. I'm sorry. Let me put no. I'm making sure that people are putting likes.
Oh, thank you, Luis. Muito obrigado. That's right. We tried our best, Yeah, man. Your sound is off, man. Are you still there? No, you good.
My sound is off?
Yeah, you're good. For sure.
Yes. So you were talking about production.
So I was thinking about doing a bit of production, in the sense that having maybe 1 or 2 cameras, maybe 3, something that could be a bit of a production, but maybe 2 cameras, filming, and just give it a little bit more oomph, you know what I mean, and texture, and I'm figuring out a way to not be also overdoing it, but really having something that just is a little bit more dynamic. I'm not thinking about using any sort of like big settings or anything like that. But for example, you see the mobility, being able, because I was looking at my garden and I was like, well, I could use the garden for the summer during like a show.
You
come through the crib, and we can do like a show at the crib, and we have like a lavalier mics, or a little something, just a little bit of production to have something qualitative enough, even possibly something that could attract at that point announcers who might want to align with the type of show, that I'm trying to produce, which I think
the swimming pool in the back would be amazing in the summer. But the thing is, depending on the type of program you use to do your show, if you have, for example, let's say I use this camera and I plug my iPhone as another camera on that side, so I can go from one side to another side. Now you have to either have somebody switching from side to side, or changing the program that you use, using the program that I use, Ecamm, for example, so that it automatically go from one scene to the other and just bounce between the two. Like every 2 minutes it change. So you really have to not forget that. So that's why personally on Club Shot I just use one camera, stay with one angle. I could add another camera just using the phone, but I prefer for now, in a one-man operation, I think it's best to have a good setup that looks good, and you go to it. So for example, look, if I just turn off this one, you see, I become dull.
Yeah, of course, no.
It's just this. Look, it's just it's just something, turn it on, and it just change color.
Yeah,
It's on
yeah,
party mode, and it
yeah,
just
yeah.
changed color. But this, wherever I am, if I'm in, and this it has a magnet, so I can plug it anywhere. So you see, just this adds something to my show, and so you don't see it because you put me on thing. But if you look, I just have a plant in the back with a light, and that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
Let's go. Actually, we're gonna keep it like
and
that.
I just bought I bought this. I think it cost me like 60 euros on a website. I bought it, and I just put a Ganesh, some trophies, guitars, some hats, and my daughter now started putting some naked Barbies. I don't know what. This one is fat, yo. Yo, this one has a fat ass.
Don't be shaming the Barbies now.
All right, let me. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this. It's better.
Are you
I don't know why.
sexualizing
Like
why are you
I just
sexualizing
discovered that
children's toys?
listen, I've
This
just
is wrong,
discovered,
Kaysha.
bro. I just discovered that my daughter has put all her toys in there. Those two floors, they inhabited Barbies. Yo, look, wait, look. I don't know if you can see. We got Barbies. We got. Oh my god. Yeah.
Ah, l'enfant est terrible.
L'enfant, vraiment. So you see, for example, in your decor, just a fake plant like this
Let me put you solo scene.
just adds a little bit of something, and then just something with a little bit of,
Yeah.
stuff in the back. It just changed the whole show because my show used to be just me and the wall.
So check this out.
And
I had
yeah,
yesterday. No, Saturday. Saturday, I had the visit of this friend who is a big TV producer, and him and I, he and I we were talking, and he was looking at our shows, and he was like, "Yo, I see what you guys are doing," and yo, I said, "Yo, how about we're looking to doing something, like." You're a TV producer. You write screenplays for shows. I mean, you do the whole shebang. You know how to run a full TV operation, YouTube, and all these new ways of producing content is really where it's at, and there is serious you know revenues that can be generated from this. And I was like, yeah, I know for a fact. And so I was like, look, man, and I can't talk on behalf of anyone else, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm down to fuck with that for real. He was like, yo, okay, let's talk. Let's talk. This could be an interesting also approach to seeing how we can, benefit from this, from the television expertise into the actual format of this whole YouTube, which is a bit more free, a little bit more organic, but with a little bit of a structure and maybe a little bit more of, again, production capacities that can add that extra little, professional feel,
yeah. I
allowing
believe.
announcers to actually be attracted to the product that we're providing. Because whether it be Club Shada, well, specifically Club Shada, because I don't know how many shows you guys have now, like 180 something, right?
195.
95, you see? Well, imagine this amount of the amount of content. Look at Quarantine Grooves, for example, on about the same kind of numbers as well. Man, these are and we both know I can't monetize Quarantine Grooves because I'm not playing only my music. So this is the only monetizable account. I mean, show that I can,
Yeah.
really put effort on. And I think that what is one of the main thing for me is that okay, I understand the concept of process and going at it step by step. But I was like, okay, if I'm going to go at it step by step, how about I try to team up with somebody who actually might be able to bring in, expertise and see how we can, do something without it being, again, out of hand and doable if I was to be alone. I still want it to be a one-man operation, but with a little bit more of, yeah.
I really believe that what creates the quality of the show sometimes it's just the fact that you just look at a professional camera. So
That's a true. It's
when
clear.
I went from the iPhone as a camera to the to this camera, it changed everything because all of a sudden I could, have this quality. I could have a blurry background, and the way the lights look is completely different depending on the camera you use. So, for example,
Definitely.
that light that you have, the light strip that you have behind you, it would look completely different from a camera like mine, for example.
We would have heard
All this
that.
looks completely different just because of the camera I use, and it just gives that professional look.
It gives
Once you have
depth.
that,
There's a
I
sense of depth. There's a.
exactly it gives the depth of field, etc. Now, I believe that if you want to make your show go to the next level, for me, a camera, a microphone, uh, uh, headphones like those that you don't see, they
Yeah.
go in
It's about
like
the same, right? Yeah.
but I don't put them on the front. I let them go in
Yeah,
the back.
because the cable is long enough. Mine is like it's not a bit
Yeah,
short.
so I have a cable extension actually. My cable is the same as you, but here I have an extension. An extension that I just added. So all these little details, they don't cost that much,
Not at all.
but make that your show has a different vibe, looks professional. And I think that the person I would hire for my show now, I would not hire somebody to maybe uh, check the cameras and stuff, because I can do all this with my mouse and my hand. If I would hire somebody, I would more hire somebody that would find me sponsors. I would hire somebody that just would say, listen, I want to put the logos that are here. I want brands and somebody that's their job to just so I can focus on the creation of the
Yeah,
content.
I know
Because the
what you
thing is,
mean. But the
what
problem,
makes the show attractive, of course, is the way it looks, but actually, it's more the content. People come here for the content. People come to listen to people talk. Like once the image is great, but once they've seen the image, most of the time they just put their phone somewhere, unless they're in the chat. But most of the time, they just put their phone somewhere and they do something else while they're listening to us, like if they were listening to the radio. And that's the way I listen to a lot of shows. For example, the Joe Budden podcast, I only listen to it if I'm in my bathroom. I know I'm gonna tint my bird, then I'm gonna poop, then I'm gonna take a shower. That's a good 1 hour in the bathroom. I put my podcast and I listen to the guys. And a lot of times I just put the YouTube and I just put play, but I'm not really watching. So
no, I understand that. But the thing is that, okay, perfect example, Joe
bonjour,
Rogan podcast. First of all, let's greet our
Emmanuel
viewers right
Etienne,
now.
because your woman is here, so I'm saying hi. Hey, Emmanuel Etienne.
You turned that woman's head so much now. Now she thinks I got something against her. You're
Hey,
going as far as
Christelle.
even commenting now on your page saying that, oh, why am I against her? She's a good woman, this and that. I'm like, bro,
She is.
why are we going through that kind of extent at this point?
I don't know why
Let
you
me
don't
do
like
it.
women. I tried.
Let me be me here, bro. You know, the rule is this: as an artist,
Christelle, Chris, Malcolm
you do
Beast.
not sleep with your fans. That's how it
She's
works.
not your fan. She's my fan.
It doesn't matter. She's still following the shows. So it is what it is.
Okay.
But with that being said, thank you very
I'll try
much.
again in 6 months. We never know. You might change your mind.
You might what?
I'll try again in 6 months. You might change your mind.
No, we know that kind. Christelle, comment ça va? Malcolm Beats, legendary.
Christelle, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I like you. You're a cool girl. You're a great dancer, but I'm kind of disappointed in you because I did the Kilulu challenge by Christelle Chris. You have people
Yeah,
sending us
I agree.
from
You're right.
Cameroon,
Christelle,
from
moi le soutien de
from
la famille. Christelle.
c'est-à-dire que vraiment, c'est-à-dire que
Vous avez
tu es une
changé,
sorte,
hein?
une sorte bantou.
Tu vois ça?
Vraiment. Non, ça me fait mal.
Ça nous chagrine très fortement.
Ça me chagrine fortement.
As a matter of fact, the dancers community, I'm surprised. Nobody's like jumping on that. Is it that the song is not good enough for you, or is it too African?
No, I think you have to send them messages. There's too much information.
I have to.
So you just send them a message. Hey, listen, please, can you do me a nice video? Because Crystal would kill the moves in there. But
Crystal will kill that shit.
I guess we have to ask. So listen, we're publicly asking Crystal to
do a Kilulu dance
routine. Dance.
That would be lovely of her.
That would be lovely of her because like we have some nice dance move for now, but nobody pretty yet. So she could be the first one.
No, that's not true. We already had some pretty women doing some dances, bro.
See, you fucked my compliment.
No, I'm just telling the truth. Since you're a man of facts.
I was trying to make her think that she would be the first one, but now look at
well, imagine now she found out it's a lie. just like Emmanuel now, she will be commenting on your page. Kaysha, you lied to me. What did you do? What did you do? As calling you a scammer.
Getting scams is frustrating. She's not calling me a scammer.
Vraiment, on vous pardonne, mais on va pas vous pardonner longtemps si vous continuez comme ça.
C'est ça. Luis has an interesting comment. It is true that you can also, but the thing is this: to repackage the shows, it takes a lot of time. Them. So every platform has specification formats. You need a team to take, like, for example, you can turn your show into TikTok quotes and take 30 seconds of each show and put them on TikTok every time and start generating something. But that's a lot of work for a one-man operation.
I mean, because the whole day, I mean, it becomes like your day job, really.
Yeah, I mean, it is. The shows that's a job for me now. I know I have to be committed twice a week to my show.
But you see, I agree with you. I mean, it is a job without a doubt. I agree with you 100%. But the thing is that there is you cannot dismiss the fact that there's a certain amount of experience that you really have in the business of just shooting images and recording and stuff, which is
No, sorry, I was talking to my sister-in-law.
So I do agree that it is indeed a day job. I mean, for all of us, it has to who are involved in this whole thing of doing YouTube shows, etc. We have to be committed, and that commitment is not necessarily the issue, but perfectionists like us, or at least people who just want to always bring quality to the viewers, to the listeners. We always think of the best way we can bring forth the type of product we bring in, we're putting out there. So,
of course,
obviously, you're coming for the vibe, you're coming for what Kaysha speaks about on his show, for what I'm talking about on my show. We have interesting takes on different topics, on the same topics, it doesn't matter. But the point is that you're obviously coming for the vibe. But now, as I'm typically talking about this conversation that I had with this TV producer, was like, well, the thing is that if you do want to take the show to the next level, you already have your identity, you have your your vibe. It's pretty open format as far as what you're talking about, but it still is very indeed niche. You're not trying to get out of topics you don't necessarily master, so you have a certain direction about what you're doing. So now you do want to make sure that the production around it, even if it doesn't have anything, this doesn't have to be anything crazy, but small details, just like we said earlier, like for example, making sure that the background, as you said, camera, isolating your image so that you appear clear and the background is be blurry, giving, painting a nice little image, and also bringing forth some dynamics. So, for example, when you're talking and you bring in like the screen, and those little things help to show to the audiences that, okay, well, if there's somebody who's stuck on your show watching the show, they're not gonna get bored. Obviously, they won't get bored of what you're talking about, but eventually, visually, it might be annoying. So,
It really depends what your show is about. If your show is a podcast, unless you have like unless you have a certain number of of people in the show. See, if you have like 3 guests and everybody is in the same place, that's where you need like a quick camera, or maybe to record in a specific studio, and record your episodes in a certain way. If it's a show like this where everybody is in their location, you cannot really control how they will look. Uh, it comes more about the quality of the content of that
true,
you will bring, like of the
true,
people.
true.
Of course, they're looking at you, so of course you want to dress. Like to give you an example, I've never been a dress conscious person. I never cared about how I dress. I've looked like a lot of my shows from before I was wearing blazers. Most of my show, I kept still thinking like a hip hop, and I kept having like sneakers, baggy jeans, and triple XL t-shirts. I was dressed very hip hop most of my career in my show. Um, Only since I started Club Shada that I started being conscious of what I wear. Because me, I don't care. I can wear like the same 5 t-shirts every week, as long as dress, put them in the washing machine. By the fifth day, everything goes to the washing machine, and everything is ready to be used again. Uh, but now that I have a show, I have to be conscious of what I wore last week, what I wore the week before, and when I'm like, oh, I wore all my stuff, I go buy some new stuff just to have something different to wear on every show. So that's where it becomes very interesting in what you want to convey to the people. Those people, kids, like it just gives you you see you conscious of that the people, if they're watching you on TV, they're gonna you also have to give them a little bit of eye candy. So of course,
True.
as I'm thinking about my show, I'm thinking of when I buy my next house, and I'm gonna have my office, and I'm gonna have really my place where I do the show. You see what I mean? That's
I'm with
where
you, 100%.
that's where I'm gonna like make sure that the place will have a dedicated place and a dedicated decor just for that. You see what I mean?
No, I understand what you mean, and that's exactly the point. So, but until you get that,
Yeah,
how now the idea is this. So, for example, right, I saw when we did your show in Dakar, the
yeah.
production was amazing because it was very, you just had your Mac Mini, the
Hmm.
microphone, the
Yeah.
iPad, and a screen. That was it. And I'm like, okay, now how about
Finish
coming
up what?
together, coming together with a concept that is as minimalist as that, but where the
Hmm.
production is really, really, really like super, 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 super tight. Where you know,
Yeah.
um, when you edit a show, and that's what he was telling me. He said, when you produce a show that you obviously record, you pre-record it, you go into
Yeah.
editing phase, you're
Hmm.
able to really cut to really important parts of the conversations because you can have like a whole,
Of
and
course.
then you can obviously upload the whole thing afterwards. But let's say you want to really bring in a 1 hour, 15 minutes quality show,
Hmm.
and 3 hours can be, uh,
Condensed.
condensed into this 1 hour 30, and you really can have super, super important bullet points. And actually, as you just said earlier, create like this, little TikTok videos, etc., etc., etc. And that is exactly what announcers are looking for, where it's like, okay, we see that this guy or this girl, it doesn't matter, that person's show is well put together. Yeah, the quality of the camera could be this, could be that. But the point is, they really are really sharp with the information they're providing. They're engaging with
Hmm.
people, and they're fun. and they bring a little bit of controversy, and that is really something that's important. You got to have a little bit of controversy in your shows, which eventually we always end up having. You and I, but solo wise.
I really believe that it depends of what you are trying to convey in your show. You see what I mean? Like, I used to do a show called Inspire on my YouTube channel, and every video was never more than 10 minutes.
I
I would record for 45 minutes of what I wanted to say, freestyle, have my bullet points and freestyle around it. And then I would have cut. And at the same time, there was a lot of what I just did. When I stopped to think and then go, I would have to cut that. And then when I do, I would cut that. And then, so yeah, the show looked a little more.
It looked definitely tight. I mean, even remember the quality of the camera, like the background was blurred, and it's,
yeah, but
but it's a different way of producing content.
So it's the thing is this: you can decide to do a show where it's pre-recorded like a podcast. So you have time. Let's say you record your show on a Monday, and you release your shows on Saturdays. You record on the Monday, and from Monday to maybe Wednesday or Thursday, you have the time edit the show. You also do all the Instagram cuts. You also have the time to do the TikTok cuts, the story cuts, all these things. And then when you throw the show on the Friday, for example, the show goes as a premiere on the Friday, and at the same time, all the different parts go to all the different platforms. That's a way to do a show. Now, if you want to be live, it's an opposite thing. It has to stay organic, and you there. Like we just say, let's call each other, and we don't know what we're gonna talk about, and we just start, and then it just goes, and then from that you're gonna cut some stuff. So if you look at my channel, every time I finish the show, 2 or 3 days after, I do 3 or 4 videos from the show, taking some specific moments, and those ones are cut. They come with a title. There's a little animation that says Club Shada, etc., etc. And if I had a sponsor, that's where I would put maybe a video before talking about them, or maybe just their logo big, brought to you by, and then in the live show, I would also do that. So when I sell my show to my sponsor, I say, listen, during the whole show, you're gonna have your logo here in big in the intro, and then it's going to stay small during the whole show. We're going to talk about product, or maybe if your product is this jacket or this t-shirt, I will wear it during the show. Or maybe this cap. Maybe you have an optical, maybe you are Grand Optical or something, and I can wear a different pair of glasses. Or maybe you want to put something here in the back. Maybe I always drink something during my show. Maybe you want to be one of these people that I drink during the show, and I talk about it. And then you sell something that is different. So it really depends what you are trying to sell to who. I don't believe that you have to turn your show into something that is sellable to TV type sponsors, because those are used to a certain type of show.
No, but that's not. But I know what you. I expected you to go there with the argument of yours, but I think that we I'm with you 1,000%. The point is not to go on TV. It's the TV that is at the service of the internet in this particular case, but you're benefiting from that perspective of a certain expertise of someone who knows what is needed as far as formulas to attract announcers. And then not just announcers, but just to overall bring. It's like for example, if you're great. I mean, but for the people watching who may not know what we're talking about, like, you do a great song, but you don't know how to balance and mix the elements of the song so that they blend together perfectly. You bring that song to somebody who knows how to, an engineer who knows how to do that.
Yeah.
In this case, we are doing all these jobs ourselves, Kaysha and myself. And also we bid a big salute to Mountain of Inspiration. Thank you, King. Thank you for tuning in. All the queens and kings tuning in right now. To those
Thanks,
that
cousin.
also,
And everybody that didn't
Mr.
put a like
John.
yet, I say
That's
hi,
right.
but I don't hi.
Thank you very much for the Kilulu.
Thanks a lot, John.
I appreciate that. Indeed, we did a great job on that one. So, for example, this is really just to give you a bit of context. It's like
Yeah.
not that what we're doing is not good enough. It is good, but you just since we are perfectionists and we want to always enhance the quality of our shows. For example, remember when you and I were talking about quarantine grooves, and we are talking about how we can change the way the animation looks when, for example, there is a donation.
Yeah.
And when, for example, you could have the light, the eyes of the mask lighting, getting lit,
Yeah.
and having
Yeah.
the name and the whole bar would actually appear with just like a big like thank you. You know that is exactly what we talk about. These little details make a fantastic difference.
Yep.
So
The small.
it's really just having somebody who is because this requires a little bit of technicality and really diving into learning how to do these things, which well, let's be honest, man. We are record producers, label owners, artists. You know, with our NFT stuff, we are entrepreneurs with all our other business endeavors. We have YouTube shows. Man, it's a lot to do, bro.
I
And
agree with you. Where I disagree is not because of that person, but where I disagree is thinking that somebody from TV who's used to do TV shows is the right person for the job. I believe that the right person for the job is somebody who's been working on shows type Joe Rogan or live streaming shows. You have now enough thousands, hundreds of thousands of live stream hours that you have content producers who are content producers for live streaming. They don't come from TV. They are native to this platform. The mistake of a lot of people is the same mistake, for example, when you have an artist that is say a Kizomba or a Zouk artist, for example, and they sign to a big record label. And now they believe that because they signed to a big record label, they have to change their music to become music uh, that sound like the big record label. They didn't sign you to sound like the other artists on their roster. They sign you to try something and to maybe bolster their roster. But if now if you sound now like the rest of them, you're not of interest to them. So you and a lot of people make that mistake. Oh, I'm a Zouk artist. I signed to a record label, but now I want to be an R&B artist. And all of a sudden, it doesn't work, and all my fans are pissed because they feel betrayed. If you are a Zouk artist and you want to sign to a major label, you have to tell them, I don't need your expertise in terms of the music I'm going to do. I need the money and I need my music to be spread to the different places, and I need you to give me the money so I can build a team that is going to work for my brand in my places and then make it bigger. So if you do a show and you take somebody that is used to working on TV, what it's going to do is it's going to tailor your show to become a show for normal TV. But if you find somebody that is already used to podcast, live streaming,
but that is
Twitch, all these.
only but that is only if that is only if you surrender power
Yeah, of course.
and surrender executive decision to somebody
Yeah,
who might come with that intention. The idea here is not that. The idea is
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
not to change the essence. It is to enhance the actual aspect,
yeah.
form, but not the actual essence. The concept of because it's not like okay now today, the show is all about like let's say you want to call the show of health and whatever. Like you're limiting guys like us. We are educated. We read all the time. We listen to podcasts all the time. we have amount of our own, and we want to talk about as many subjects as
Yeah.
possible because that's just who we are. So
Yeah.
obviously, you know, the idea is not so much. It's really not about changing the way it is, the content,
Yeah.
but the container. Really, it really is. How do we make the content look a little bit more interactive, a little bit more dynamic? And is it necessary? And that's why this conversation with you is interesting. It's like, okay, maybe not necessarily, maybe okay, maybe getting a better camera, investing in that, and just overall, maybe enhancing this little aspect might be just enough. Maybe you're probably right. Um, but yeah, I mean,
I mean,
it's just, I mean, I'm not against any ideas. I'm always, I'm listening.
yeah. I personally, if I, I've been watching your shows, and I've been helping you and design them, some
Hmm.
of them, and pushing you on that path. If I had personally, I know where I'm going with my show, and I know where I want it to go. For yours, what I would, if I had a 3,000 euros budget
How
right
much?
now,
How much?
3,000
Hmm.
to invest in your show now, I would take $1,000 and 500. I would invest in a camera and lens and a capture card, so for those who don't know how it works, here I have a professional camera and a professional lens. You can shoot, my image looks like a music video, and all these image, this capture, it goes through a cable directly to the camera, and it goes to a capture card. This capture card takes the image and send it to USB to my program. And then on top of that, we put the overlays. So you see like all these things that you see down there and the logo, etc. And now you have the quality here. So if I put my hand here, you will see that, you see, I can really have these depth of field effect that you do in music videos. And if I move or if I go back, the camera automatically does everything that is depth of field, and it tracks me. I'm always tracked. And all this, it costs around 2,000 just to have this quality of image. You add my light here, it costs another 200, I think. Uh, all these things probably cost me another 200 to just buy this. I order it online. I have a light here to take care of my face. I have another light in the back behind the flower. To It's called a field light. So I have three lights. So I would say 200, 200, 200 at 600, probably 2,000 for the camera, etc., etc. So you see, we're around 2005 just to have just a certain quality. And this completely makes the difference. If now you put me in full screen, put yourself in full screen now, not to shame you, but you see the
I'm not feeling
difference?
ashamed. There is a
No, but
massive
you see
difference.
the difference.
There
This is
is.
an iPhone. This is an iPhone camera, and it completely. So what I would do, not only I would do this for you, but on your side, on your right side, I would add maybe something. I don't know, maybe some art, and
Hmm.
maybe in the back I would put maybe some lights, something that gives this feeling. Maybe even some. Maybe I would order. You see, on top of your head in the back, I would probably put maybe uh, a neon sign that says Boddhi Satva, or that says
Yeah, yeah,
let's
yeah.
you see, instead of, for example, that artwork you have in the back all red, I would remove that so I could put something that is maybe something dynamic, maybe a neon that change color every minute, something that with a logo, something. Just sometimes it's just because if you remember the first episode of my show, it was so different. I had
Mm-hmm.
nothing behind me, and as I was looking at my show, I was like, "Yo, I need to add this. I need to add that. I need to create something so that when people come to my show, there's this familiar place. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh. And as I'm thinking of my next home, I'm already thinking of my office because in my head, I'm like, yo, listen, people have no idea. I'm probably gonna put 5 to 10,000 euros just in the next place. I want to really have a room
Mm-hmm.
like I'm in the corner of my real living room, but I want to have a whole room that's gonna be my music studio plus live stream place, and the live stream will really have its own core stuff to look specifically in camera. And I believe that for most people, for one man operations, unless you have like a studio with 3 4 people, that's all you need to just have this. Because sometimes if 2 people are saying something interesting, what's gonna make the difference is how they look.
True. True.
So they look, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, in a way, the fact that it's visual, it's just like music video. You can
Mm-hmm.
love 2 songs. One has a very nice music video, and the other one has this shitty music video. But sometimes the one with the shitty video has way more views because it's just those songs that everybody love. But
Yeah.
if you had just an amazing music video, it would just up the par a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're there, I believe that you hire somebody that their job is to fit the ads inside. Imagine that instead of that red thing, you had a screen in the back, for example,
Oh, well.
and let when you a screen,
Mm-hmm.
monitor, and let's say that you put the logo of your show, the different shows you do. While you are talking, you have the logo of your show in the back. Now imagine that when you have an announcer, maybe 2 or 3, you can rotate that in the back. For example, we
Mm-hmm.
can do this with overlays, but the fact that you can now do those things inside of your show and completely generate something completely different
Mm-hmm.
for an announcer. Because the thing is, I don't believe in changing my show to announcers. I really believe in teaching announcers how they can use my show. For example, I have somebody that just sent me a message. I didn't reply yet on Instagram, and she's the owner of a champagne brand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink, but let's say that I invite you to our next show, and we're gonna have episode 200 of my show in 5 episodes, so that's 2 weeks and a half. Let's say she sends me 2 3 bottles. I send you one bottle. I have one bottle here, and we here because it's the show 200. Even if I don't drink, let's say I'm gonna drink one thing, or I'm gonna call my wife. She's gonna drink with me. We're gonna ping the champagne and stuff, and I can say, yeah, this show is brought to you by such and such brand. And tonight I'm gonna sip a little bit of champagne while I'm drinking, and I'm gonna put there
Well,
here.
as you're talking, the guy
Yeah.
I was referring to, my good friend, he's into
Oh,
cheese and comments. He's watching the show today. Sergio, Salsa, the cat in the building. He's the man. So it's exactly where we was. Well, it's
yeah.
to a certain
Exactly.
extent
So
what we're talking about. But I agree
yes.
with you. I agree with you 100%. And that's why this conversation is interesting to have as well live with you, because also it allows a different perspective, which is
Yeah.
always insightful, because indeed you're right. It's not about formatting yourself to the announcers, but it is about making sure you teach the announcers how they can fit into your program while still
Yeah.
giving them, you know,
And listen, you
quality.
know that a show like ours is much better for an announcer because
Yeah, we're
in a show
retaining attention
like
for a long
ours,
time.
you know that in a show like ours, for example, do I have it here? Um, Let me just add it. For example, give me a second. I have to find my overlays. Okay.
Let me
For
remove the
example,
overlays here. Hold on.
look,
Hold on one second. Let me
if-
just remove. Okay, here you go.
yeah, if I add this, for example, so that's
Yeah,
the overlay of my show, right? Now, if I have a show that lasts 3 hours, your logo can stay here for 3 hours.
true.
Or if I have two people, I can rotate this here for 3 hours. I can put a QR code for people to just click on their phone and go to the announcer. So all these things are possible, and you can even have something. Maybe there's a giveaway, so a telephone number, an email that you can send. You can have a scrolling thing here. You can do all these things when you have your own show. And what you have to do is when you are selling or when somebody is selling your show to this announcer, what they have to do is they have to teach them how it is interesting for them. Uh, Especially you, for example, you are somebody who you are really into bespoke clothing. Now imagine if every show you had, maybe let's say somebody buys four placements in the next four shows. For a whole month, you're gonna wear four different shirts from a certain brand. Now they they sponsor the show for a whole, and then you explain to them that not only they're gonna be there during the show,
They
but
even
they
have shit
all
like that. Like, you know.
exactly something like that. Now, and you're also gonna have the whole. You also gonna have their logo and put in front where you put the clip on Instagram, the clip on TikTok, the clips on your stories, and now you can tell them, listen, even if my show has 100 or 200 people right now, I have a million followers on Facebook that will receive the clips. I have 200,000 people on Instagram that will receive the clips. I will have X number on in my
I mean, a million
stories.
people on Facebook and 200,000 on Instagram.
Exactly. So that now you can start explaining to the people how when they buy one announcement, they
It's
actually buy
just
the announcement inside of a whole universe. And
true.
and in my head, where I want to take it is say, hey, listen, it's not just about one channel. You can have like 10 channels of people who do regular content and have somebody buy just the way they do it on TV. That's where somebody who's used to working with TV is interesting because they understand that sometimes you buy announcement for 4 or 5 channels when you have a bouquet. You can tell somebody, listen, you can be on Kaysha's channel, Boddhi's channel, Mountain of Inspiration channel, Dalia MTV's channel, MJ Wemoto, this and that, and all these different shows. You can be in all these shows representing that number of viewer per week, representing that number of followers on all the Instagram, and now you can sell a whole package and distribute the amount of money between the different creators in
That's
either
true.
from
Yeah, we spoke about
the
that before.
side,
It was
like
true.
so much stuff you can do if you start from a native thinking, and then you can really use that money as somebody who has a show to, for example, for you, let's say you have your first announcement, you use that money to buy that camera, you know, and then me, I would not use the money to buy a camera. I would use the money to maybe promote the show a little more by promoting the clips on Instagram and those different things. It's just that at a point, uh, first you have to grow your show organically
Yeah,
because a lot of people are talking about Joe Rogan, but people don't realize he's episode 1,300 something. I
true.
remember episode one because I've been on YouTube for 16 years. Episode one was as shitty as us. It was
True.
just them figuring it out. And then same thing for Joe Budden. If you go to Joe Budden episode one, it's just them in his first. He started before the show, before the podcast. They were having debates in the bedroom, like horrible with a mess behind them, but they were still having those debates. So they were actually going in there. But it's been 10 years that they've been at it. So the success they have right now is
Yeah.
not a success based
It's not
on
overnight.
whoever brought some this and some that. It's about the consistency and an organic following that has been built
100%.
years and the years and the years. Look, listen, Mountain of Inspiration has been, and his brother Joel, they have been watching my show since episode 1. It's been 2 years. When we started the show, it was a quarantine and
We
nobody
actually
had a
started. We actually started this whole thing in internet, YouTube,
exact.
whatever thing 2 years ago. It's true. We are two
So
years old. Man.
a lot of people, when they have to go back to work, they could not come back to the shows. And a lot of others, they sit. And then some people, they start coming. And then some people, they come to my show every week from your show, from Quarantine Grooves. And some of my people, they come to your show. Then and then some people started their own channel, like Mountain of Inspiration. You know that Mountain of Inspiration has been doing, you see, I'm speaking about Joel, there
Joel
he is.
Ahmed.
Yeah.
What's
That
up? What's
Mountain
up?
of Inspiration has he did for 6 or 7 months one live show of 30 50 minutes every single day. Can you imagine? So that's how, and listen, when you look at his show, he has his own group of people that come every show. And so that's the thing, like the growth, yeah, you can promote, you can have, of course, like money always helps. But when you grow organically, you're gonna have loyal listeners. And actually, brands used to watch numbers. They used to be like, oh, we want influencers with plus 100,000 and more, and we can give X amount to promote our brand. But a lot of now that every woman is an influencer, including mine, a lot of the brands are now saying, you know what? It's like the fans are not really being fooled. They actually are starting to prefer micro influencers, people with just 500 followers, 1,000 followers, because those people are more like humanly reachable when
It's more organic.
they
It's more
trust
real.
more. When you have 1 million followers, when there's an ad, people have the another ad. When you have like these 500 people, 10,000 people that really like you, these micro influencers, they actually are, the advertisement are way more effective because it's people that really trust you and that talk to you every day, people that know you. Emmanuel Etienne has been coming to all of our shows for so long. We know her life. We talk during the shows, Instagram, etc. She comes to post. Christelle, she comes to your show when you perform. Mountain of Inspiration is my cousin. Matt Music, I'm working with one of his artists. Luis has been one of my fans for 20 years. You see, it's a community. So when you tell somebody, hey, listen, since I started drinking this, I lost 2 centimeters of my belly. Yo, listen, it's really da 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 da. People believe you way more because and they trust you that you're not gonna try to sell them anything. I'm gonna be here selling them stuff when and if I have for example, a champagne brand, if I do that deal with that champagne brand, I'm not gonna tell them, hey, listen, oh me, I'm a connoisseur of champagne, but no, I'm gonna tell them, listen, I don't drink, but hey, listen, this is one of our sponsor in the show, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. Da, da, da. Let me try it as a non-drinker. And maybe I'm gonna send one bottle to you and say, hey, listen, I have somebody who's more into champagne. Let's drink it together. Tell me what you think, blah 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 blah, and maybe talk about the business of Champagne. Why is it in a region called Champagne? Go and talk about the business of that, and maybe talk about the business of artists having their brands of cognac, alcohol, vodkas, etc., and why us who are not Americans, we didn't think about all that at that time. Which is actually all these people, they make way more money from their brands outside of music than from music. Like
Of
Rihanna is
course.
making more money from from selling
Fenty.
the underwear and then lingerie. She's making more money, way more money than she ever made from music. So that's very interesting that in the European and African spheres, we tend to not have this forward thinkingness. We tend to, yeah, we tend to just want to sell our music and that's it. And we're scared of venturing outside. This girl. So
Yeah,
it's really,
but it's also normal because it's a francophone mindset,
yeah.
and
It, it,
it's not surprising, I have to say. Uh, but in our case, I think also, at least for my case specifically, you hit the nail on the head. I think it's sometimes but this whole conversation started from the question of Kaysha saying, so what's up? You've not been doing the show that much.
yeah.
And to circle back to that is because you know when you're very critical of your work, you you look at what others do, not comparing, but you always have to draw inspiration from others. I'm looking at, for example, what you do with the show, and I'm seeing the dynamic, and it's like, okay, it's a question of also different styles, different approaches, but you're right. The regularity is extremely important,
Oh yeah.
and
Especially on,
you. But you know what? You'd be surprised. It's very interesting because I was studying a little bit of that, and I've seen the numbers of Monday MQT and Monday Quality Talks.
mhm.
Growing, even though I wasn't doing the show
Of
as
course.
regularly as I wanted, but just because it's there, it's evergreen content as we know. But
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, cool. So people are consuming it. Now, obviously, the regularity is super important.
Hmm.
Um, but outside of that information uh, having been mentioned, you hit the nail on the head by saying it just requires a little bit of enhancements as just quality of image, a little bit of a setup and organizing your space. Um,
Yeah.
so I think in my case, I guess it's more being patient with also how things will unfold. There's a lot going on, and
Yeah.
also after the passing of my mom, there's just been so much.
Of
As
course.
I have all the stuff here now, so it's just
Yeah.
it's a bit of a my studio's not a studio. Like I have her stuff, some of her stuff under this desk, and it's not necessarily super
It-
super convenient, but nonetheless, we still got to deliver the show. We still got to be talking about what we're talking about because, as you said, at a certain point, people come for what you have to say and what
yeah.
you give it.
It's kind of a, I would not say you become a leader of opinion, but your opinion matters to a lot of people about subject. So it, it as you know, the way I create content, I always remember the people that I used to watch. And the people that I watch, it's interesting because when something happens, when Will Smith slapped Chris Brown,
No, no, Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, sorry, I keep
Because
saying
Chris
Chris
Brown
Rock.
was being used. Come on, what
Oh my
happened,
God.
man?
When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, the first thing that came into my mind the next day was I can't wait to know the opinion of Lovely T, Joe Budden, uh, Urban Politician Podcast, um, Brilliant Idiots, The Breakfast Club, and
Which,
then
by the way, Joe Budden's take on it was, I don't know.
you have to watch the two episodes. He had another take after that where
Yeah, I
he
mean, the first
kind
thing
of
was the two
returned.
dudes he has next to him. Like they say shit that I'm just like, okay, there's a bit of
It's
ignorant
very
stuff going on
interesting,
down there.
but that's the interesting thing. You're gonna have subjects where you're gonna matter with the host, and others when you won't. I
Mm-hmm.
had a black woman from America who was very vocal during my show about when I talked about it because she was seeing it from the point of view of uh, black American women who have been told it almost becomes a slogan now that black women are protected. And in an extent, it's true out
Mm-hmm.
there. but it's not true everywhere out there. But it becomes a generality that they will just put it everywhere. So they will see everything from that point of view. So when they go to a subject like this, they will always come from the black men are not protected, so he deserved the slap. I'm gonna come from a point of view of business, so I'm gonna say, is it worth fucking your whole career? No, it's not. You could have handled that situation from so many ways. Now you block for 10 years from the academy when you work for years to arrive here. And now he's gonna destroy a lot of the investments that you have, a lot of the partners that work with you. They're gonna be like, you toxic right now. We cannot work with you. There's a lot of people who count on you to deliver some work. They cannot work anymore. Some people are unemployed because of this moment. So now you ask yourself, was I selfish? Did I think? Did I think in that 10 seconds? Did I think of all that would transpire from that? I didn't. And then oh my God, if I just wait a minute, enjoy my moment, get my Oscar, and then after that, when the party's over, I call my guy that I know 30 years. I say, hey, bro, listen, this. Right now, you would have financement for Bad Boy. You would have Apple Music, Apple TV, and Netflix biting on that project you're doing, and you would have maybe 2, 3, 4 Oscar-worthy movies coming, etc., and your business would go to a certain level. And to this, a lot of people who don't think far will reply to you, he's rich already. He has the Oscars. Who cares? You see what I mean? This to me is people who are short-sighted. You always have to think long term with the actions that you do. And it's the same thing for content. When I know that the next day I've been drinking with Miss Jada Pinkett, Chris Rock for 5 days until I got tired of the subject myself. But even yesterday on Club Shada, we had a conversation about that, and it was very interesting because we took it in from a business point of view. And so whenever there's a subject, you become that person who gives the business point of view on that subject. What you need is that the public becomes at a point, I wonder what Kaysha is going to think about it. You see, I can't wait to know what Kaysha is going to say about this. And that's when now you are starting to have a certain amount of people who come to listen to your opinion about specific subject. And then once you have enough people, then you can come and tell an announcer, hey, when I do my show, I have this amount of people. And I think the problem of a lot of people, because they are not patient enough and they don't see from the long term, they're going to start with trying to get the announcers. And the announcers are going to be like, what you want me to do with your 10 people? I'm not interested in that show. You see what I mean? Those people, they'd rather, it's this thing where you have to be like, okay, I'm going to grind for 5 years on my show and make it a show where my opinion counts in the sea of content. Don't forget, every minute, there's 400 minutes of YouTube content uploaded. So if we don't post today, if we don't go live today, there's probably 100, there's probably a million people that are live at the same time as us. So it's amazing the freedom of information that we have, but it's a reverse of information. So the question is not how can we have a client? The question is, how do we exist and how is my voice heard? Do I have to pay to be heard, or do I have to be interesting, or both? And once you have, I remember the first time you did the show with 5 DJs. It was super interesting, but then you let it go. because it was too complicated. Because maybe there's somebody who made it complicated for you, and then you were like, oh, fuck everybody, and then you didn't continue doing those conversations with a bunch of DJs about your industry. But imagine
No,
if
the problem with that was not because I didn't want to do it, and we spoke about it. It's just that people have different agendas. Like you have somebody say, I don't want to be on the show because that one is on the show, and then it's okay. So let's do another one together. And then everybody's busy. Everybody's busy. Everybody's so at a certain point, yeah, you're like, okay, well, you know what? It's cool. I don't really need you guys to do my show anyways. I mean, because then people start to think that you're trying to use their image so that you can benefit from it. But it's like, dude, um, like calm down. It's really just about a genuine interaction and trying to understand where you stand. Da, 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 da. So yeah, you're right. It's something that really had a nice vibe about it. But then when you see the different egos and how automatically people try to start making very quickly people make things political. And it's just like I just got tired of it. I was like, all right,
yeah,
cool.
the thing is this. The question is, are you trying to create quality content, or are you trying to be discouraged with everybody and their agenda and
Morals.
goals and their thing? It's up to you to find the right people. That's a work. That's the work as
True,
well.
true,
Listen,
but it's but
whenever
it's
I
but it's a
invite
work you got to be
somebody,
willing to do. And
of
if
course,
you,
listen,
I mean,
I invited somebody that talked about Kizomba, one of the first Kizomba teachers. And he used to be a Salsa teacher. Then he became a Kizomba teacher here in Portugal. He started like in the 90s. And during his show, a lot of instructors were there too.
mhm.
And a lot of them, they call me after, hey, I want my show too. Why me? Why not? And I was like, yeah, listen, it's open to everybody. Whenever I want to invite people, when I have my seasons, when I want to invite people, I let you know, we'll fix a date and we'll do it. But I was not start. As I told him, he was like, "Oh, can we do it next week?" I was no, because it's not a Kizomba show,
Yeah.
so I cannot have 2 or 3 people in a row. I'm gonna have one, and maybe I'm gonna have another one in 2, 3 months
Hmm.
because I'm in control of the thing, and most of the time I'm sufficient to myself. But then you're gonna have to find the right people that can come from time to time to your show, like you, for example.
Yeah. Hmm.
From time to time, you come to my show, and it's always great. And
Hmm.
people, when they know that you're gonna be here, they're already ready because they know we're gonna laugh, we're gonna et cetera, et
Yeah,
cetera.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have
Mm-hmm.
my regular. I have this girl Trisha that I know that I call from time to time on the phone, and we have conversations. Uh, because it's great to also have the point of view of a woman depending on the subject. It's not going to be all the time, so you have to find your people,
Hmm.
and then you start inviting them. So at a point, people can be political and people can try to um, put the show where they want
Mm,
when they believe that they are more powerful than the show.
mm,
This
mm,
is
mm,
why
mm,
I say the more you make the show valuable, the
mm.
more people are asking to be on the show, and you're not asking them. They're like, hey,
No,
then
but
when
because if you think about it, you might invite some people to obviously
Mhm.
uh, come through the show because obviously they may not be aware of the show, but then you
Yeah,
know a lot of people do ask, and interesting people as well want to be on the show. And then
yeah,
you have the different, and as you just said earlier, the ones who are like, oh, but why you didn't invite me, this and that and the other. It's like I just think that in my particular case is very much to echo what you just said. I'm self-sufficient. I don't really need anyone to be able to
mhm.
talk for an hour or two or three. But the work that it requires, I don't think that mentally I was um,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
was ready to put
Patient
in the
enough.
work to just patient enough to deal with little bullshit. Because at the end of the day, it's like, look, I want this to be fun. If it's not going to be fun, I'm not going to do it. So yeah, you're right. It's about finding people that are fun and entertaining,
Yeah, so
and
much. Listen, there's so many DJs. That's the thing too.
No, that's
It's
true.
not just
But then I don't want it to also
one
be a show
person
about
dance
DJs.
that
That's the other
everybody
thing,
uses.
though. Because I don't want it to be about like, obviously I want to invite a couple of peers, people that are, and that's where I think that's also where my my conversation with myself is like, okay, do I invite, fellow DJs and we talk about life, we talk about whatever, we talk about, um, uh, or I just invite artists in general, it can be singers, DJs, producers, it doesn't matter. Or I just invite people that I just
People,
connect
listen,
with. And I just think that
you
the letter is one that I'm going for, which
yeah,
is people like, the Fistel or,
interesting people.
you know what I mean? Interesting people. But the thing is that I
But look,
think,
excuse me to cut you, just to
mhm,
tell you,
mhm,
you're using StreamYard here to create
mhm.
to send these out. On StreamYard, you can create a link and put it there and do sometimes a public show when
Yeah,
where
yeah,
anybody come and have a conversation.
true.
And you think with this program you can have up to
10 people.
50 people at the same time. I don't remember, 8 people at the same time. So you can sometime just have this conversation where you are talking not only with you, because we are talking between creators, but we're not even
True,
asking opinions to listeners. Imagine if
true.
you
That's
do a
not a
show and
fact.
that you invite, I don't know, you invite Martin Fish is a creator, you invite Christelle, or you invite Louis, or you invite somebody else, and you and you have the conversation with them, so you know what they like, what they listen to, and why they listen to. Me personally, the reason why I know what to do for me personally is because most of the time I'm a content. Um, no, a lot of people when they're done creating, they're on Netflix, they're on platforms watching movies and stuff. Me,
Hmm.
when I'm on YouTube, I'm on YouTube the rest of the day watching creators. So I'm as a as a content consumer, I know what I like. So I try to go up to the part of the guys that I like. And there's a lot of guys that I like, they don't have quality yet. And I know that there's a lot of people, I love their content, but I hate watching them. But
Mm,
I like content enough that I'm watching and I always comment. But I,
hmm.
I always remember the moment where I see them investing in the cameras, investing in program, maybe investing in a place where now they're gonna, and I'm like, I'm hearing the comment, yeah, now you
Hmm.
okay, now it looks great. Da, 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 da. Hey, be careful. And then I'm there. Hey, be careful with the color balance. Be do that. Maybe you
Mm,
need and because I love to, there's this girl, she's one of the first live streamers on YouTube that I follow. Her name is Lovely T. She talks about most of the time, gossip and in the black culture. And I remember that I used to watch her stream. I was still living in Paris. I used to watch
mm,
her streams probably 2010, 2011. And I remember that I was on the chat and she was like, "Hey, Kaysha, how you doing?" I remember that. I don't know if she remembers me today, but now when she live streams, from every stream, she has like 11,000 people watching at the same time. And she has in donations just from every show, she probably make $4,000 to $5,000 every show that she does, and she makes around 2 to 3 every week.
hmm.
And I look at that, and I remember her when it was just like 30 of us watching, and I'm like, okay, it took her 12 years to arrive where she is here, and I'm like, okay, I see myself now, and I put myself in this thing where I'm like, okay, listen, one step after the other.
True.
I'm here, I'm this, and da 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 da. If you go to my first episodes, it was just, yeah, listen, it was me, iPhone camera, no microphone, uh, just this light. I think I bought that light and that one, and that's it. And then as the show went on, I switched camera 3 times already, and I'm
Mm,
already thinking about my next camera. This
mm,
camera is more than enough, but because we always want to overkill. I'm already thinking of going 35 millimeter, uh, going with that €3,000 camera with a a cinema mic. Maybe I'm going to use this as a second camera that we'll put here, and the cameras will rotate. I'm thinking about all this, but it's not that important for now. What is important is creating the content, making the content interesting for people, so that you don't start your live and everybody's gone after 10 minutes. People are here, they're listening, they're watching, they are interested. We're not even talking about something specific. We're talking about the creation of a show. It's a topic that should only interest the creators. But look, people are here. They're here and they're still here in the chat. I mean, I hope the chat. I mean, I don't see them talking anymore. It's been 10 minutes, but if you still hear Rambo's in the chat, but you see what I mean?
But it's normal. The reason why it's not just a conversation about it's not a geeky conversation, because it's accessible to everyone, and it's food for thoughts.
And it might also inspire them.
Of course.
As you know, maybe somebody wants to do a cookie. Listen, sorry, excuse me, bro. Listen to me. Do your cooking show from your kitchen. You put the light camera and you cook food. Trust me. I know you have a lot of things to do, but from time to time, do your Monday quality talks while you are cooking something, and you're gonna see that you're gonna kill everything.
I agree with you. The issue,
I know the issue.
This is not the problem. Is not a question of not wanting to do these things. It's just it's sometimes having the technical aspect of things.
Sure.
In order. So, for example, if I want to do the Monday quality talks from my kitchen live cooking, it's possible. But then it means
you need to
I need my laptop downstairs. I need to plug the camera in a certain way. It's not impossible to do. It's just that it's a bit of a production, and it's a bit of a production that requires me to move things around. And as you know, man, it's not. And it's not an excuse, but it's just an explanation as to why my head. I just didn't have the space in my head to do it yet, because I'm just like, well, it's a lot. I mean, that's exactly what we were talking about with Sergio when he came to the house on Saturday, because we were like, I was like, oh, I want to cook, and exactly to the point you was just making. I was like, I want to do this cooking thing where every once in a while I just cook, and I invite Kaysha or some other friends over, and just we just
you talk while you
talk while cooking, and then we just having these conversations, and we interacting with people watching. That's exactly what I want to do, and that's exactly something where I'm going forward towards by the summer. Hopefully, where we're going to be possibly even doing a full-on barbecue outside, and having this camera thing going on
live from the barbecue.
But the thing is that Christian, of course you really triple.
I'm telling you.
But the thing is that it's always the same question. It's like, okay, and that's why I need to find a way where it's production wise, it's not too complicated to do. I have actually ordered a 50 meters cable, Ethernet cable, Amazon, so that I can actually extend it all the way to outside, etc. So as long as I have these things in place, then it's probably more feasible. But it's a lot. It's a lot on top of everything else that I have had to handle. So only now am I starting to look. I could have done the show 3, 4, 5 Mondays ago, but I just obviously wasn't in this headspace to do it. Because you're like, okay, and then you're doubting yourself because you're like, okay, shit, man, you want to talk about stuff, but then you got too much in your mind, you're tired. Man, I would go to sleep at freaking 8:30, 9 at night because I was just too exhausted. Yeah. So I think now I'm starting to come back to it, and it's something that we're going to build, and it's something that we're going to do for sure.
To me, I'm a practical person. I'm a business person. I wouldn't do a new show. what I would do would be
No,
either
I'm not talking about doing a new show. You're keeping the same
either I
show.
would do quarantine grooves, live from the barbecue, or Monday quality talk from the barbecue. You cooking as you're speaking. You have two, three people. Everybody's standing. There's a camera, and we just hear talking. There's a microphone somewhere so we can hear everybody the way we did it in Dakar. And yeah, if you can have two cameras, all you need to do is two dollars, of course. Vraiment, la nourriture est venir les go. And yeah, you bring some ladies as well, and some ladies are in the pool. Some of them are there in the back tanning, and you create. It's like a family, Will Smith summertime, and
No, but
it's like
that's definitely to the point you're making. That's definitely the objective. But the thing is that in order for us to be able to put that together, there's a
you
few
don't need
things
nothing.
obviously. Well, you need a
You
bit
need
of
the
technique.
sun.
You need a bit of
No,
technique. You
you need
need
the sun. You need to have cable long enough to have your machines on the table. You need your internet connection to be on point. You need maybe two iPhones,
yeah,
two
three
iPhones
iPhones.
as camera. Listen, you don't listen. iPhone, I got a lot of. So you
No, see, so the
camera,
idea is
listen,
get
camera one, camera two is up there. So it's not a question of it's just a question of let's do it. You see what I mean? You just decide to do it. You don't
yeah.
have to do it every week. The day you decide to do it, you say, okay, we're gonna put some music, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe not, or we can just gonna be there, talk from the barbecue, enjoying, talking about things. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
cook something. There's gonna be a lot of smoke. We're gonna put the camera in maybe two angles, and we're gonna have conversations. We're gonna have people, and those people are gonna be here, and it's not gonna be like just like now. When we started this live stream, we didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a subject at all. We just started talking,
Yeah.
and this was the subject.
Because
So
we always got things to talk about. So I was like, okay, I know that even though
exactly.
I don't, because this is the
So
thing, and it's to the point.
imagine you
Obviously,
had
I had a lot of things to talk about today, but then I was like, man, I'm tired. My mind is not, let's just vibe it up,
yeah.
which is something that we only us could do because we know each other enough to just know that we can pick up on any conversation and make a whole,
I've seen his asshole from inside. It's pink.
the guy. LTFMB, long lead from the back.
Put some put some friends in the chat.
Okay, well, say no more. And
I think it's a great idea. Live
it's
barbecue.
live the
You know,
barbecue, the cooking. I want to start doing the show more, like but it's just, bro, you gotta understand, man. Like the house, man. You haven't seen the house since I moved all the stuff from my mother here. It's just too much, and so my mind is just like clustered. I'm like, okay, how do I organize these things? Because, and I also
you're
don't
gonna
want
have
something that's
to.
like heavy to move. I need things. I need to be super freaking efficient with everything, because otherwise, I know it's gonna do my fucking head
At
in.
a point, we're gonna have to have the conversation about your house and about the cleanup. When
No, but the
you
things that, well, that's another conversation we
I
we
know,
can't really have here. But
I know.
but until my siblings come and they do, then yeah. But obviously, yeah, this without a doubt. And the truth is that the moment things get more aligned, and I upgrade the crib or upgrade to another crib, then that's going to be another conversation. But for now, this is great. We just have to do is what
But
we
you
have.
have
It's not
nothing
a problem
outside,
of not
right?
having, huh?
There's nothing outside.
What do you mean?
I mean, outside, there's nothing on the garden.
No, no, no. I have to.
Garden.
I'm actually. I'm just getting. I'm gonna get new furniture for the summer. I'm tired of the
Okay, so
furniture that we have. I'm getting
there
new
you go.
furniture for this summer.
So
And yeah,
barbecue camera, and maybe some music in the back. We put our music, we play our music, barbecue camera, and then maybe pool camera or this, and then it's just like a reality show. And you just stay live
that's exactly
for
the idea.
live for 3 4 hours, not doing anything special, playing music, talking, having conversations, and from time to time just playing music and just your music, and then and yeah, inviting people, maybe inviting and cooking for somebody important, like uh yeah, the
You
usual
know,
suspect.
this is the point. It's exactly the point of the conversation, and that's why I had Sergio over to the crib on
Hmm.
Saturday. I was like, look, I wanna, you know, I really want to put this together, but we're having this down, and you bring it from your perspective, which is complementing, what was being said and what we had spoken about, you and I, for a long time. But you know, I think that right
That
now it is.
on my
Mhm,
show I'm gonna do the on my show I'm gonna do the like when I buy my house and I have
mhm.
my place, I'm gonna have a cigar show. I'm gonna have
La
my cigar
milliardaire, comment ça va? Bienvenue, sois le
milliardaire.
bienvenu.
I'm gonna have my cigar show, and we just in a certain lounge in my place, and we just there talking and smoking cigars and having conversations in a calm manner, and we dress a certain way, and from time to time I'll do a special club shout out where you know we'll explain why is this cigar what it is, and I guess cigar drunk or whatever. And
Mhm.
like, to me, all this is about, for now I have to do this show in my living room. But once I have my place, or maybe rent a place for that, that's when I take it to the next level. But as I told you, one step after the other. Imagine you've been able to do around 200 shows using an iPhone as a camera. Nobody told you something about the quality. But trust me that
Oh, no,
when
no,
the
no, nobody said anything.
quality changes, everybody's gonna be like, "Whoa,
Of
what happened?"
course, of
You see what I
course,
mean?
of
But
course.
the
When I was
thing
in
is,
Geneva, the other on this weekend, I went to the the area where they sell electronics, and I saw this Leica camera, and I was just like not sure, so I was like, "Ah, let me just wait, and when I get to Lisbon, I'll check with K." Just to get like this nice camera. And as you said, that makes a whole difference. And then you can have like maybe one or two iPhones there operating and doing the do. But as you say, I agree with you 100%. Like
on that one, you need somebody to control the camera. You
but
really need somebody.
c'est ça le truc.
That,
And
yeah,
I'm pretty sure there must be some hub that exists that might be portable. There's got to be
it
something
exists.
that
It
you
does.
know. Yeah.
It's called a switcher. They exist. You even have some that connect directly to YouTube. Uh, but we already have what we need. We just need to have somebody that control that part. That just go from one camera to another one. You see, or you just do it different. You just do it. You start simple. You do it from just one plant in front of the barbecue, and everybody sitting next to you cooking, and that's it. You can start simple the way we are right now. You hear you cooking, people are here around you, and there's the cooking part and there's the talking part, and that's it.
Mm.
You
Hmm.
know, maybe what you would need is maybe we need microphones that we hold microphones, for example, so that when somebody's
Hmm.
talking a thing, they just take the microphone and they talk in the microphone. But
Hmm.
to start, that would be great. And then as you go, you add. And I prefer this approach with live streaming. Is as you go, you add. As you have more people, generates more money. You can add. You can even one day pay somebody to take care of everything, cameras, and you just take care you of being you and etc. And you don't it doesn't matter what happens in the back, and you have that person who's showing you the comments, etc. Like, but all this, it has to be done step by step. When people want to do too much, then they have a show that is yeah,
It's a
amazing
it's a
quality,
whole
all that,
mess.
they have nothing to say, and it doesn't work. So you really
But
have to find the right balance between,
yeah, it's almost like you got to script it, but without scripting it. You just have to structure it in a way that is
Yeah.
uh, that is making
Okay.
sense.
Oh, Jujuzan.
Juju sound.
Talking about
Juju.
jambon de barbecue, bah, jambon de barbecue. Ah,
Bon, juju
Jujuzan.
sound. Mais oui, tu seras là au barbecue, nous espérons.
C'est ça, voilà.
Hmm?
On invite lui, on parle de sa carrière, you know.
No, no. Look, I'm with you, and I agree, and I think that this is exactly the vision is taking Mon NQT to that level where it's really just a vibe and it's us like we do when we're on the phone talking and just having Lil
Like,
Maho,
like when we barbecue,
Nelson. Hmm?
or when we barbecue in your house, that's the vibe.
That's the vibe, for
That's the
reals.
vibe. We just talk about so many things, and everybody's
Hmm.
there. When you sit in, there's some barbecue, some shisha, and then you just
You can see
talk
Kaysha throwing
things.
people who don't know how to swim in the pool and almost drawing themselves.
Oh my god,
On te kiffe
that girl.
aussi, je on te kiffe aussi. Não,
Ok, mano. Precisas cozinhar.
meu Deus.
Cozinhar
Nesta hora. Shit.
às 11.
Shit.
Oh my god. Hello, bom dia, dear boy.
Bom dia, Tivoli.
Boa noite, minha princesa.
Pode cozinhar, meu amor. Não, não faz mal.
Não faz
Faz
mal.
barulho no. You see, she's gonna start making noise during the life. It's okay. Pode, meu amor. Queres dizer bom dia? Não.
Estamos com fome.
Estás com fome?
Com fome, hein? Por quê?
Cozinhar. Isso. Estamos com fome.
Estamos com fome.
Okay.
Ok. Bom apetite.
So yeah, we're gonna start cooking. It's gonna be Guinea again in the house. They're gonna start cooking, and when they start cooking, they start screaming.
Well, it comes with the territory.
Je veux m'organiser un événement où j'inviterai Kay ainsi que Boddhi dans un barbecue en plein air avec Aloko et du michoui. Hey!
No, but the barbecue, if we do this, we gotta have Madame preparing some of these proper Guinean food, man. It's
Oh
like,
my God.
the plantains and the whole shebang.
Listen, don't stop me with her. No, I have a YouTube channel. I mean, she has her YouTube channel.
Mm.
And she's such a good cook. I kept telling her, listen, let me just film while you cook. I'll do everything. I'll do the editing. I'll just, you cook something, I just come, I put a camera on, how you call this, when it just films and you take photos every 30 seconds and then you make a movie about it on very fast action. I'll do this. I'll come do some shots. I'll do the edit, put some of my music in there, and then you have some content on your channel. But interestingly, she's not interested in her YouTube channel. She's more into her Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But she had almost 100,000 followers, subscribers on her YouTube channel in less than a year. It just exploded, and then she just abandoned the channel. She never puts nothing in. So
Well,
it is what it is.
Too bad.
Yeah, because I really like. It was really a venue, and I remember the first time I gave her, because all my YouTube channels are in my network. So when I paid her, she was like, "Oh my god, I made that money!" Like, yeah, just continue doing content. But yeah, she's not into it. She's not into editing all that stuff. And then I was telling her, listen, I hate editing as well. That's why live streaming is the best thing.
Yeah.
Girls can talk about, you girls can just have girls chat. Like that would be way more popular than what I'm doing. But you can have all the ideas. Me, ideas I have infinite. But then execution is about the people. Some people they're not into it, they're not into it. But I
True.
know for my show, I know that one day I will make my show a daily show. But I will keep coming twice a week and I will have other hosts. It's something that I'm really thinking about doing. And maybe like,
That's even
sometimes
smart.
I cannot be there. Let's say I cannot be there. I can have somebody just come in the channel and stream from their house to my channel just for a week, or there's so many things. Emmanuel got hacked. Oh shit.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's the thing. You have to be careful what you click when it's online.
Yeah.
Always have to be careful what you click. So I'm sure I know what happens. You click on the wrong thing, and
Ah,
then
il faut répondre à cette question, hein, Papa Kaysha.
Yay! Listen,
Je sais
I
quoi vous
have a,
dire, madame.
I have let me go to YouTube's channel, to Boddhi's channel, Boddhi Satva, Kaysha vlog. Gotta find a vlog where oh, I have a vlog where you have my vlog 364 from 9 years ago. Wait, and you have hair. Wait,
Oh my God. Nah, don't
wait.
do this. Oh
Look
Lord,
at
have
this.
mercy.
Look at this. This
Désolé.
is
Hein.
this is.
Oh my God.
Look at you here.
Oh non, 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 non,
This is
non,
an
non,
old
non. Mais
vlog
c'est quoi ce problème? On était à
in
Paris
my
chez
house.
toi
This is in Paris.
avec Olive et Steph. Oh non, non, non,
Believe
non,
it,
non, non,
that's
non, non, non.
my old apartment,
Ah,
and we are listening to music.
Olive
Look,
était
his
cassé
twin
dans le
brother sleeping in the
sofa.
sofa, and look at you. That's crazy.
Wow.
Wow. 2013, making a beat in my
Damn.
house. So let
Damn.
me see. I have a vlog with you where we are so many content with you. Maybe let me see. Vlog Buddy's house. Probably I must have. I don't have a vlog in your house. Maybe my. Oh, I know there was a vlog where you're in my house. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Um, there's a vlog where you're in my house. Is what was it? My birthday? Wait, Asha's birthday. Were you cooking on Asha's birthday?
Was that what?
Were you cooking on Asha's birthday?
I think so. Yes, I always do. Gotta be
Wait,
making something.
let me
Ah, n'est-ce pas,
see.
non, l'ami Adair? Oui, bien sûr. Vous comprenez
There's a
l'émotion du style. C'est
there's a
ça.
vlog where you cooking. No, it's not this one. Maybe. No, this one you were on
This
that
one you
birthday.
were at the house. Oh man, my mother got to be in this vlog, right? The one with you and Nelson and Asha.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Oh,
This one you were DJing.
I was
Maybe her 2-year-old birthday. Maybe on this one you're cooking. There you go.
mm,
But listen, this is a whole show. You see what I mean? Like with the kids in the
yeah.
back, and I mean, listen, my channel is full of content. Like I have so many vlogs and have so many content. You go to my channel and you watch my vlogs, and you will see probably one of them where we're chilling in Bud's house
Mm,
and he's cooking.
yeah, man.
He's a master chef.
Yeah, not too bad. I can put down the proper
I
meal.
know how to do.
Mhm.
Derrière, il va venir Général Body.
Vraiment. Vraiment. No, man,
Let
you
me see
know.
some likes because these people are
Yeah, 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 yeah. True that.
sorry. Everybody put their like. Okay.
No, en tout cas, c'est vrai. You hit the nail on the head, man. I think that, yeah, you know, and if you recall, as far back as I remember when you tell me you need to bring MQT to YouTube, it's the
Yeah.
only show that has been, you know, as far as if you compare it to Quarantine Rules, which is very natural to me, MQT on YouTube, I've always had this weird. I don't know how to, you know, it's like I'm still I'll get my groove, and then I'll lose it. And then I'll get it. So I'm
And
still
it's,
figuring
and
it
it's so
out at this stage.
interesting because when you come to Club Shada, you don't have all these problems.
No, I don't.
So it's something about maybe the pressure that you put on yourself to do a good show when people are just waiting for you to be natural. I mean, me, I'm just
I
myself.
guess,
I
yeah,
don't.
maybe. When
Just
again,
I want to talk about something. Like you remember one day you were frustrated about all those DJs in the industry, and you made a 5 minute video on Instagram. That would have been an amazing 1 hour MQT. Well, let me tell you something, you motherfuckers, and bah.
true.
It's a lot of my shows. They stems from a conversation with you, a conversation with MJ, a conversation with one of my cousins, a conversation with my mom, sometimes a conversation with my wife, my best friend. Sometimes I'm gonna have a conversation with
Yeah,
somebody.
no, same here. Same here.
Great, that's a great thing to talk about in the show. And then 2 days after, I just took some notes of the things I want to talk about, and there I go. And then
Yeah.
the interaction with the chat makes the rest.
The thing is that if I talk on Instagram, I'm much more
Mhm.
natural than when I'm actually on YouTube because the interaction is more dynamic, right? Interestingly enough, and I think that YouTube has always there's a bit of sense of pressure, which I don't have anymore. I think that
Yeah,
at
you
this point
don't,
now
you know,
I'm more cool, but
yeah.
it's just now not being so um, how do you call this, disconnected from you know putting into action and motion the whole all these things, which is consistency, but again that is very much depending on my traveling and stuff, but I have to organize. It's just organizing stuff.
Listen, StreamYard is such an easy program
Yeah, you can shoot from anywhere. I know it's a fucked
that,
up excuse. It's another excuse that I just
you know,
use.
like, come on, like, you're not like me. Me, I need to take uh, a tripod, the camera, like, I need a half a suitcase just for the material to keep my quality. You need an
Yeah, but
iPhone
that's the thing though.
and a
That's the
laptop
thing. But that's the thing.
and Wi-Fi.
You want to make sure that, but that's exactly to my point. I want to take it. I want to take this whole thing to that level of quality, which is where I think the issue was that I'm having now. That I think I've been
Mhm.
doing this again for 2 years. I feel
Yeah,
like okay, now I need this fucking camera. I really need to invest in this thing and get that because I know it's frustrating me to not have the quality that I want,
hmm
and I know I can get. Is one thing that I have to really, you know, say that's been frustrating because, but at the same time I was like, okay, I want to see how much of this shows can finance this investment because I was like, okay, if this
yeah.
is this is the business I'm investing in, I need that business to be generating money in order for me, and then from that investing. But then it's not generating necessarily just yet, since we're still, 2 years is nothing. As you just said, some people make between
I mean,
5, 15 years. So
it's not that 2 years is nothing. It's just that if you take your 2 years of content,
mm.
you have 200 episodes of DJ stuff that cannot generate
And
because
46 of conversations, yeah.
only so you don't. It's not like me. My show is generating money, and it grew my YouTube channel just because everything is monetized on my channel. I don't,
Hmm.
I don't, I don't have, I don't play stuff that is not monetizable on my channel. So I only play my music, and all my shows they have publicity stuff. So next stop is sponsors. But another thing about sponsors, a big mistake small people do, small music videos, small channels, even small televisions they do. When they think sponsors, they think Coca-Cola. When
Big
in
mistake.
reality, you know, somebody who has a very, very, very small brand and would love to sponsor a show, but they're like, oh, I don't have money for these big shows. because I know that it's like 3,000% and et cetera, et cetera. If you go and you tell them, hey, listen, 200 to one episode, they're gonna be like, wow, that's amazing.
True,
Yeah,
true.
and I'm gonna have these metric. And if you're interested, boom. So now if you have one quarantine groove per week, one Monday quality talk per week, so that's two shows. And you can have very small sponsors, very small brands that give you 200.
Exactly,
That's
exactly.
400. That's 1,006 for a month. There you go.
Absolutely.
Wednesday.
No, we are with the competition, and yeah, it's just a
So
matter. But
it's
remember, and
always,
remember, I packaged that whole offer, right? We did that whole packaging where it was, we had like this pricing stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
it's always funny
It's not enough.
because as you said, we need the.
It's a job. Listen,
It is a job.
we are
Merci beaucoup.
content. We are content creators. We are content owners. We are business people. But listen, me, I'm not somebody that I'm not interested in going and sending email to people. That's not something. I rather give somebody 20% of the money I'm going to make and tell them, listen, try to get me 300 per show, or try to get, yeah, sell a show for 300 and sell maybe a whole month for 1,005. I'll give you 20% of the money that I'm gonna make. So if you can send me a whole month, I take 1,002. You take 300, and I have my whole month of or 2 weeks of sponsors, and that's enough. And if that person, if it's a student, somebody, they get 300, they're happy. Like it's money. They're gonna do whatever they want with it. And me, I'm gonna use that money just to promote the show, to
Yeah,
to to
yeah,
and
totally. No, it's absolument ça.
really sometimes it's I remember when we met. I remember we met that girl. It was when
Which
4 or 5 years ago after the web summit. Um, at our guys um, with Afeni and them and this record
Mm,
label.
mm-hmm,
We met that girl. I think she's from Sweden or some northern country.
mm-hmm.
And what she was doing, she was a PR. She was like, and I was like, yeah, that's the type of person that I want to talk to. And actually, I had a conversation with João and Afeni. I talked with them, and we're gonna meet this week.
Oh yeah,
We have
nice.
we can talk about this because I was listening. I think you are the people I'm looking for. I need people to take care of that part of the business so I can focus on the rest. Like for me, it's the same as shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, listen, I can sell my shows, but I kind of like having somebody that I give 10, 20%. And even if people call me, I send
And
them
it's
to
a fair,
them.
and it's a
They
fair,
know
and
what
it's a
it's
fair
about, they
split.
know
It's a
everything,
fair
and
split.
I can focus on creating.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing for uh, uh, everything else. You know what you have to do, and you can focus on that. And listen. I can receive on Instagram something, tell them it's this much, give them the bank account, receive the money on my Revolut or my crypto,
And
and
then yeah.
then I show up and perform. But sometimes, just so you can focus on being a creative,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have people, they just have one job, and you just ask them to do that job. So some people, it's their job, they learned, they really like, this is what they do, or this is what they aspire to do as a real business. And you tell them, listen, you send your mass emails to, or maybe you find a company, you know or maybe you create a company. That's the next level. It's in television. So I don't know if Sergio is still here, but if he worked in TV, he knows. I mean, in French we say régie. They have
Régime Portuguese, you said as well. Right?
a régie publicitaire, and their job is to fill all the slots with ads. And sometimes that's all you need. You need to find the person that's going to be your own régie publicitaire, so you can focus on doing your shows, and you know that the shows
Or
are
maybe that's something
generating.
Sergio could do. Maybe that's something. I have to. I'm gonna call him.
For example,
I get that. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, like at a point, as a creator and as somebody that their business is around creation. And listen, me, as time go, my creation is going crazier and crazier. I'm
Yeah.
creating music. I'm creating music for me and other people. Singing, rapping, mixing. I'm creating
Answering the
a live
shooting,
show
the whole shebang,
twice a week,
shebang. Yeah,
and I have NFTs now. And I'm
100%.
selling NFTs, etc., etc. So listen, if I had people to take care of the things so that I can focus on my creation, listen, this means that's all I wanted in life. You know, all the labels I work with, I was always telling them, I don't want to take care of about I don't even want to take care about the money. I just want to be there cooking, creating all the croissant. And when they come out of the factory, you sell them. You take 40% if you need. I take my 60%. You pay me. But I started. I had to become a business person and take care more about the business, just because most people, when all the money arrive, they steal it from you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So at a point, it's not that I want to give back control, because I love having control of everything.
Of
But if I
course.
could have somebody that I can trust, where
Yeah, but
everything
you're
is
not giving
is
control. You're
done,
just giving a job to
yeah.
somebody to do
You
the
give
job. They're getting
tasks
paid
to
for it.
people
It's a
that you
task. Yeah,
that and that people that listen.
and
I
it's a
used to make
partnership as well in a way.
I used to make business with my heart. I don't anymore. When I make business, my heart is so cold. So to me, the way I do it is simple. I come, we work. It doesn't work. I have no problem firing you now. So to me, if I find the right person or somebody want to work with me, actually, or can have a few people, I would just create a place, a calendar. When I have maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 people, I don't have to pay them, because they get paid by the percentage. And I have a calendars with shows. And if somebody find a sponsor, they go in the calendar, they put the sponsor, they put all the files that we need, and then we go. And listen, all I need is to have the logo, and maybe they have something that I have to show, a website, etc. And I do this in the beginning of the show, and that's it. And that's easy. And
It's
that's
easy. Yeah,
that's a
no, it's
great
the way to
way.
do it. It's,
That's a great way to generate money from those shows, especially on YouTube. You know, another way is Patreon. Another way is donations, of course. It's, but then it's also depend on the size of your show. So there's so many things you can do. I didn't know we talk about that, but that was great.
that was a great conversation. I
It
think
is.
we give people a, a very up close and personal look into conversations of our brainstormings, and
Mhm.
and I say that
Yeah,
it's very valuable, very
it is.
valuable,
It is.
and not everyone has the capacity to openly speak about, because it's a very vulnerable place to be able to, like, like, obviously, is it because it's interesting. You see a lot of people fronting, and they're not
Mm.
willing to address things as if it was not as if it was a problem. And I think that this is where a lot of people need to understand that there's no need to feel a particular way, because as
Mhm.
long as you're doing things, nobody can talk shit. They can talk shit, but at least you're doing things. And the moment you're able to be surrounded or have conversations with people who are doing it much better than you, or in a different way than you, but that's actually more organized, you can garner so much knowledge that can actually help your business grow into something much better, much bigger. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I believe that I've built so much stuff in my life as a creator. I've built my career as a singer, rapper, producer, built the career of other producers, other rappers, other singers, built 3 labels, destroyed 1 or 2, destroyed some enemies, uh, built a YouTube channel with 200,000 subscribers, almost 5,000 videos, 180 million views. Uh, I generate enough money every month from everything I did before that I don't have a problem. I don't feel vulnerable
Well, stop bragging.
building something.
I got almost 55,000 subscribers and almost 8 million views on my YouTube channel.
Hey.
Take that.
So to me, what is very interesting is more about building.
Yeah.
What I love, what I'm excited about is the process of building. Because trust me, I don't need to do none of these shows to make the money I make. Listen, you know the money I make just from paintings. So
The NFTs is blown up.
my NFTs are just killing it right now. I made more money than I would need 2 years of shows to make the money I made just from my NFTs. So I could actually not care about those shows and just concentrate on my painting and doing more of that. But actually, what is fun and interesting to document is the process of this. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, when I'm 60, when I'm 65, when I'm 70, my kids are grown, and they want to know about
anything,
the me that they don't know.
they'll go.
They're gonna have hundreds of episodes of what I did in my
Thousands of
YouTube
them.
channel.
Yeah.
Hours and hours, and that's amazing. Listen, something a lot of people are telling to my dad now that he's in his late 70s. A lot of people are telling, yo, please tell. A lot of people from Congo are saying, please, your dad is one of our brightest memories. Please have your dad write his memoirs. Please ask your dad to tell about the country, etc. And I'm like, yeah, I would love to know, like, everything that my dad did from training at Mossad, what, to building the first Congolese CIA, what, to being a handball superstar, when, to sitting down and training with Muhammad Ali, what,
history, man,
to sitting with Selassie, Fidel Castro, all those presidents, Carter, Nixon, Deng Xiaoping. Yo, I would love, listen,
big things.
I'm really thinking of asking my dad
if
he would be willing, now me go in Congo with my cameras and have 10 shows and record conversations about early life, about Congo, about Mobutu, about, to have, like, those people don't speak because they're not used to it. So when they go, the memories go as well. And people who talk about them are people from Belgium or people from the Occident who twist history. So I want my children when be like, yeah, this was my dad. Yeah, but what your dad, this thing about the, no. This is what my dad was thinking. Play this video. Oh, this is how my dad was doing this thing. Oh, this is, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's something that we are doing today. We're not just doing it for the business of it. We're also doing it for the legend that we are writing of who we are and explaining who we are. Listen, I have no video where Boddhi Satva explains not in 10 minutes, in 1 hour, what is ancestral soul. This is nowhere.
True.
Well, I have videos where I can explain my career, where I explain how I started, what I did, etc. This is there. Stories. I'm telling stories, and as my show continue, I'm telling stories about what I lived, what I think about music, how I got into the West Indies, etc. I would love to see a show where you explain, okay, ancestral soul, how, why this name, me, Candy Zook, why did I call this Candy Zook? Why back in the days everybody was something Zook. All these things, we have platforms now. Back in the days, we had to beg TVs to let us speak. Now we have the possibility to speak. And to me, this is way more important to give people something just to rather than find ways to monetize it. Of course, we'll find ways. But the thing is, if you concentrate on the quality of the things you have to say and you start explaining and you use your platforms to explain what is ancestral soul. When you talk to journalists, when you talk to your fans and they ask you, yeah, but what are this is the link. Oh, what about this? This is the link. And then now you become, a lot of these people have become voices that are heard by millions. And it was just because of the message. I believe
You're
that.
right. I think not to cut you, but it's funny because I've been asked these questions in interviews or on magazines and stuff like that, and because I spoke about this in the past, for some reason, you're very right. Actually, it's obvious. Sometimes you have all this knowledge and you just you're not always right, but you definitely in your mind, yes, you are. But you are in the middle of the head. No, I'm not proving you wrong in this matter because there's nothing to be proven wrong, so it will be very strange. But you're right in the sense that the knowledge is there, but then you forget to. It's almost like you don't deem it to be valuable.
Exactly, that's your problem.
Yeah.
This is your problem.
Yeah,
You
right.
believe that your show is going to be great because you're going to change cameras. Listen, my first show was with you. The quality was horrible, but we had 500 people.
Yeah,
because of you and I, what we bring to the table. So
true.
Listen, as a person that everybody respects you in the Afro house scene and even outside of that scene,
True.
everybody respects you for what you did, but you are the one who is not deeming what you have to say important. Listen, you should have your next shows about ancestral soul, about the dance. Listen, Chris is here. You should invite dancers to speak about dance.
Yeah, but this has been this, but the dancers thing. This has definitely been something that I've wanted to put together. It's just that things happen. But yeah, you're right, and it's exactly something I will be doing indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, talk about ancestral soul. Talk about deep house for you. Talk about house music, like just what house music means for you. You can. I'm sure that you can talk about what house music means for you for an hour. You don't listen. Me when I do my shows, I don't prepare nothing. I just have a phrase of what I'm going to talk about, and then I just freestyle. I can freestyle sometimes for 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm just because I can talk. Now imagine if when we talk about things that matter to us, about the music, about how we did it, about how we create, about the programs we use, where we use these programs, where we would love the music to go, how we see the industry, the all the hurdles that we had in this industry by people not deeming us black enough, West Indian enough, Angolan enough.
In my case, I'm hearing that I'm too African, too black in the way I'm making the music. I'm DJ, so much so that people are like, you should play a little bit more, and that comes from black people, and I'm like, dude, really? Like, we're talking about black people as in like black, as in I'm not black, my skin is not black, but and I'm like, so I'm a non-melanated, I'm a non-melanated black man. But it's just that I'm black, and I'm looking at my brothers and sisters, and they're like, dude, you're playing. What is your fucking problem, fam?
You are speaking with people who don't understand your mission.
I don't speak to them, but but because I also understand that we're never gonna get see eye, we're never gonna understand each other. But it's very interesting,
Então,
it's very interesting
No bitch.
how you sometimes you see it through the eyes of those who criticize you, their
Mm-hmm.
lack of understanding of what it is you are doing or you've been doing. And I'm not trying to prove them wrong because I have nothing to prove to them. But the fact of the
Mm-hmm.
matter that for some odd reasons, this is causing
Mm-hmm.
them to eventually. And this is why I did that video on Instagram where I actually was cussing, motherfuckers out,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, look, just because I don't fall into your orders means you need to focus on my food and my money because then you're gonna start seeing a side of me that a lot of you don't know. That is not the right and that is not the right move you want to have with me. And it's funny enough. After that, they start coming out of the bushes. Oh, what's up, brother? Yeah, man. Yo, nothing but love, man. Ah, okay, cool.
But it's this thing to me, as you get success, as you get followers, as you threaten a lot of people, as you become the aim, the person to take down, you have to learn to shut down so much of the noise, and you have to teach the people around you to keep the noise for themselves, and then you start you start understanding that you have to focus on your mission and not be there and answer to people. Of course, from time to time, it's good, it's great too, but most of the time, it diverts you from the mission. And the mission is a lifelong mission. There's some music to be made, there's some people to enlighten, there's some people that, and this the majority of the people, they are silently appreciating. And the people who are vocal are always the 10, 20, 30, 100 people who are not really saying something interesting. The rest,
True.
they're actually silent. So now, if you start using your platform to generate a movement, everything else just comes with it. Everything else. You know that every show now, it's interesting because it's been a trend now for the last 4 or 5 shows. Every show, I don't say nothing, but I look the names in the chat, and I always see new names. Every show now, I see 2, 3 new names. So the more, the more I the more I make shows, the more I see that now that the content is here, now that if you want to go back to discover Club Shada, you can watch more than 400 hours of episodes. You can watch a lot of clips. And so as I'm doing it and as I'm turning my channel, because it's a musical channel, it's like my main revenue comes from the music videos in the channel. But what I'm doing now is I'm challenging this to turn this channel into my podcast channel, I would say. And I still put music in there. And sometimes I'm like, is it the right thing to do? But then I watch guys like Boddhi, guys like other people who turn their channels. And I'm like, yeah, it's the right thing to do. And
Yeah,
because
but
of this,
I also see you need one avenue for everything. Like, and the good thing you have playlists.
yeah,
Me personally, I like practical stuff in the sense that it's got to be easy for me to reach. And if I have to
yeah.
look at 5 different channels to find your shit, you lost me
Uh,
after 5 seconds.
exactly.
I
So
need to be able to see everything in one place. And I think
so the
that
way
it's the right thing to do.
the way I treat my show, I treat it as a way to not only convey all these different things, who I am, what I represent, my values, the news, gossip, and I use every subject to continue to convey how I view the world and how my values make me view the world. And it's something that I've been doing for since the beginning of the show. Like, I'm going to talk about, I had 3 whole episodes where I talk about Will Smith, Chris Rock, The Slap, Jada, from all these angles, but those are not angles about them. There are angles about the business, how I would have done, why I would have done this, why I see all this. I'm trying to give people perspective less than emotions, because we in a world where people are just emotional about everything. So everybody's just replying emotionally about everything. And you need to have some people that they trust, that looks like them, that can give them a perspective so that they can be a little less emotional about things and a little more okay, nice. So maybe when they arrive to this point where they're emotional about something and they're about to do the same mistake, they can think of my voice and they can think of the consequences, and then they can keep a hold of themselves. And when you do this, you win somebody for life, because these people, they will remember the day you saved their life with that advice. And this is an amazing mission for us. And for this, it's worth taking the time to build. Because listen, even a guy like Joe Rogan, listen, you have 100 million. Do you really need to continue having conversation with people? You don't. But you keep doing it because you want to be the person that have these different conversations. Same for Joe Budden. Like these shows are growing. It's not just about the money you're gonna make. It's also about the power you have as to change some mentalities as well. You know, to
100%,
talk about
100%.
different things, to talk about the country, to talk about, listen, like, like my take on the diplomatic passport, for example, of Van Damme, might not be a popular take to have from an artist, especially me in Congo. But at a point, somebody has to say something about
And what was the
just giving
feedback on
out
that,
all
by
the
the way?
jewels.
Did you have any feedback or backlash?
No.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, the president wants to speak to me. Yes, oui, monsieur le président. Oui, bon, on a vraiment. Bon, j'ai vu la vidéo, mais enfin, bon, peut-on se parler? Oui. Vous avez besoin de conseils? Je peux vous conseiller.
Je te jure. Ah oui, ça c'est clair. Je peux conseiller beaucoup de gens.
Yeah, you know.
But it's very interesting. I think that there's a big part. I think I've empowered myself on a lot of aspects, but telling my story as I've experienced it and as I know it and as I've taken a massive, obviously, part in writing is not something that I've really. I guess, is it by humility or I don't know what it is, or maybe, but I think because of past business relationship with people who kept on shutting me down for some interesting, for out of jealousy, I was thinking that I was probably bragging where I was, I don't know. So then I decided, I just stopped. I just decided to stop talking so much about, me and putting the other in the picture. And just adding every once in a while maybe a little something. We're never really making it about me because it seems like every time I was trying to not making it about me, but telling my story, then I was becoming egocentric, me. And so I was always very self-conscious about that. But I think this is very, very valuable point. And I think this is why you need to, especially when it comes to the show and in general, but especially when it comes to the show, because obviously you can't talk about yourself all the time. But especially in this context, you must absolutely focus on telling your story, giving your perspective, your lecture on a given context and a given situation on a given topic. Because indeed, well, I'm not dumb, thank God. Got a bit of education, and I think that
I
people come
believe that
and every time we do the show, people are here. Like I mean, I haven't done the show in almost 2 months. I mean, a
yeah,
good month and a half at least,
people are
and
here.
look, people are here. So
Put some fire in the chat.
put some
Listen,
fire in the chat, indeed.
you
Yeah,
know, I believe your next episode should be the beginning of that story.
yeah.
Like how you got there, like how you invented
That's it. That's
that
what I'm taking
sound,
notes. I'm taking notes here on this
like
paper.
how you got there. And a lot of times people love to understand that how you got there is not just, oh, I woke up one day and I made the beat. It starts with where I was born and then it goes from there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's an amazing conversation that you can spawn in 3, 4, 5 episodes of how this came to be, and how at a point you get the things from your peer, and then how at a point you get shut down, and then how come you do your renaissance. Like, this is an amazing story that, listen, people come to this channel. This channel is not called an offering recording. It's called Boddhi Satva. So some people are very interested in the people who listen to that music, who are interested in that genre. They would love to know how, and then a few episodes of that, and then you continue with telling the story of having people tell their stories as well. There's a lot of people would love to be interested, they would love to listen how
Their
they got
stories.
there as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And
So many people, like,
but we've been doing
in the,
that though. We've been doing
yeah,
it. It's just that we
but
stopped
you
along the
also
way.
have to do it about yourself as well, because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
main, the
no.
main reason people come to this channel is not me, it's Boddhi Satva. So I believe that those
You
are
have
should be the
to
next episode. Trust me, like, ancestral soul. That could be the name of the next episode, and you explain what it is, how it came to be, etc., etc. Like, what did you do? And then that, I know that every time I did those episodes, people were loving it. Like, every
No,
time
we'll
I
do.
did deep
Next week is
dive,
definitely what I'm going to be doing.
and listen, we're talking about 38 years of life. So there's a lot to be said. There's a lot of different nuances of how an artist creates and become who it is. It's the love life, the family life, the failures, the victories, the believing yourself, not believing yourself, etc., etc. Listen, me, like, when I tell my story, it starts with my father coming from nothing, becoming to the heights of Congo, and having a son telling him, I'm gonna be a singer, and him being like, oh, hell no, you know, because for him, it's like, I didn't do all this for you to destroy my legacy.
True.
So all this is part of the whole becoming.
And little did he know then that this would him allowing you to be you would lead you to you being you now and the legacy that you've actually honored beyond words. It's amazing. Same
Exactly.
for my dad, man.
It is.
Yeah, we're about to tell a story. We're about to tell some
Yep.
story.
It's
Well,
midnight. So that
on these
was a
words,
good show.
thank you
On these
very
words,
much.
give us some Rambos in the chat. I mean, no, I don't know. It's not my channel, so I don't know what people
No,
put in the chat when they're happy.
there's no,
Put some
we
hearts
don't
in
have
the
a
chat.
ritual here. Go ahead. We don't
Well,
have a
Shada
ritual
Gang is
here.
here. Put some Rambos in the chat, damn it.
Some fire, some rainbows, some hearts. For those of you who are watching and have been watching, thank you very much. You still have some time to make some donations, and
Yeah, it's
definitely,
never too late.
make sure you follow Papa Kaysha on all his socials. Kaysha 2201 on Instagram, Mais c'est ton Twitter là, moi je connais pas. Ton Twitter, c'est la même chose sur tout d'ailleurs, tout aussi moi.
My Twitter is Kaysha. My Instagram is Kaysha2201. My YouTube is Kaysha. My Facebook is Love Kaysha. But if you type Kaysha, you'll find me.
Voilà, exactement. Un homme très organisé, très structuré. Donc, well, we benefited all from a beautiful conversation. I think that it was pivotal to have this good conversation, and you guys have been able to again have a glimpse into some of our 5 hours long conversations sometimes, which we just dive into just like
brainstorming,
deep introspections, and we're looking at different things from different perspectives, and yeah, good stuff. See you next month.
What did you want to talk about in the beginning, like before we went?
No, what I wanted to talk about, I had in mind to talk about,
Christelle, thank
Kilulu.
you.
Merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup. I wanted to talk about Kilulu, and making sure that we touch on also a little bit of the controversy that's been going on so many different aspects.
You're gonna have to invite me again,
etc. So I think we're gonna have to do that again. But definitely. But definitely, for those who've been supporting Kilulu, please continue to do so because Kilulu is looking like it's making some waves, but we need everybody to put fire upon this thing. So
and for those who didn't yet, please go listen to my album. I know most of you.
Très important, please do. Yes.
We are waiting for the Kilulu video. We're also waiting for some song from my album as well. So you have some work to do. And congratulations, Malcolm Beats, on your first Kizomba Festival as a DJ.
Ooh.
I heard everything went crazy, and you had, a lot of love.
Félicitations.
Julie Badi, you can come shoot a movie in the house, Boddhi's house, anytime. Everybody go to Joel Amen TV as well. Amazing content. If you want to learn about live streaming and how to create your show, and it's the channel to go. La Milliardaire, big up. Sergio Philippe, can't wait to exchange. Thank you, John. Thank you, Matt Music. Thank you, Luis. Yeah, we've been. We did 2 hours now.
Yeah, man.
All right.
It's a good show.
I guess. Was a pleasure.
Yeah, man. A big pleasure. Okay. And finally, it's actually doable, with the ladies cooking in the back. It adds a vibe.
Yeah, it was not that noisy.
It was not that noisy, yeah.
And, well, I have a gate, so under a certain level, the noise don't go. So I have a whole setup. I have to show you my setup, actually.
No, for sure. I'm about to look into that video switches thing and look into these things. But yeah, for sure.
So see you at the cooking show, live from the barbecue. Thanks for coming. And go to Kilulu, type Kaysha Boddhi Satva, Kilulu, K-I-L-U-L-U on YouTube, and go leave a like and put a comment, please.
That's right. Just don't forget Spilulu and H Baraka. Very important.
Yeah.
Ça, c'est du lourd. Quel son, mon cher. Jusqu'à des gens qui ont dit on a mis fétiche dans le son.
Vraiment. Incroyable. That shit is crazy.
Family, have a beautiful rest of your evening and a great week ahead. Peace.